Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, June 11th, the Dow Jones fell 6.9%, or 1,861 points, which made it the fourth largest Dow Jones single point drop in one day. And if you're looking at the data and trends, the number 1 point drop, the number 2 point drop, and the number 3 and 5 point drop came in March 2020, the very time that I had been warning y'all since the very beginning of February that lockdowns would show up. And guess what? Lockdowns showed up. And so I've been saying everybody needs to get ready because we have absolutely mishandled the virus on every level from both political parties and businesses, corporations, and leaders. And so I've been doing what I can to give everybody the truth so that they can prepare for the next 6 months of this year mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, because it's going to be a rough ride. No one ever said the grand transition was going to be easy, and especially after all the choices we've made over the last 5 years. Oops, this morning, Bloomberg is talking about how Houston, the city I love, the city I live in, and the city I've been doing everything I can within the state I love, Texas, to provide great information to not only my fellow Texans, but the first responders, the people in the healthcare industry, and police officers, plus the military that are here. And so now it is saying that Houston is on the precipice of disaster with virus cases spreading. Hey man, I get that you may have a different opinion than mine, but there are 7 billion people on the planet, and so I'm just going to have to live with that fact. This brought to us by Caitlin Collins. A warning is now included when you sign up for a Trump rally, because he plans to have a rally, I think on the 16th, and he's got a couple rallies lined up, and the first one is in Oklahoma. But there's a warning now included when you sign up for rally tickets. By attending this rally, you and any guests voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure to COVID-19 and agree not to hold Donald J. Trump for president, BOK Center, ASM Global, or any affiliates, directors, officers, employees, agents, contractors, or volunteers liable for any illness or injury. And so this has been one of the situations I've been talking about, is that whereas people on social networking and media like to make fun or put down other people's choices, that you're going to find that corporations and universities are going to be extremely careful when it comes to people's health on a liability basis. And so all the signs are out there that this plague is real and something you do not want to catch. Your grandmother doesn't want to catch it. Your mom doesn't want to catch it. You don't want any of your family or friends to ever catch it, because you may survive it, but it does lung damage. And even if it only killed 1% of the people it got in America, if everybody got it, that would be 3.7 million. Right now, we're looking at 115,000 dead after 3 months. And so technically, everybody on a corporate and political level has been in a fantasy land of we're going to go back to normal as soon as we can, even though normal is never going to return. And there's a good chance we will be dealing with this for another 1.9 years. Fragoricio, Eurozone industrial production, it's always darkest before the dawn. And economy-wise, not just the United States, but across the world, this has been having major hits to almost every sector of the economy. So it has been my consistent recommendation since January 30th to avoid the coronavirus like it was the plague. And I am not backing off that, and I'm telling you that the major ramifications of the economy and finance have yet to show up and will probably be fully evident to everybody by the end of June. And yeah, I get that there are like 28% of the people out there in the world or in the United States who believe that the United Kingdom threw away 20% of its April GDP just to make Trump look bad in November. But that has to be one of the most self-centered, dumb things I've ever heard. This is an issue that has been affecting every country in the world. We have top 10 highest per capita COVID deaths, many new countries on the list, but also a bad sign that Sweden, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America are still in the top 10. And that all the problems we face that are very modernized now, even though they happened before in 1918, before in 1666, and before in 1300, that this is affecting every single country on the planet. Like right now, people that are getting hit with the most deaths are Chile, Armenia, Brazil, Peru, Mexico, Djibouti, and then the United States, Macedonia, United Kingdom, and Sweden. And so, it's a real deal. And that for 7.6 years of THORnews, my stance has always been never to trust politicians or political groups. And that is not going to change. And so now, when the United States has less than 5% of the world's population, but 30% of all deaths from COVID, at no point in time am I going to think that any politician in our political system has done a great job on a national level. Man. And if you think they have for any reason, then I think you have your head up your ass. Here, the lady FOHF says the UK seems to have managed to both screw up the lockdown from a public health perspective and sustain maximum economic damage at the same time. And the United States is pretty much the same. And the United States has pretty much done the same. The UK's economy shrunk by 20% in April, the biggest fall ever on record. And in the video I made the night before last, I was talking about how they were talking about the best projections have the United States getting hit with an overall 7% GDP drawback over the rest of 2020. And that is if we get our shit in gear. And so the main two stats, even though all stats can be messed with, are hospitalizations, and then the lagging indicator is deaths. And so I was telling everyone to expect lockdowns to return in some form and fashion around September. And then the protests happened, and now it could be as soon as by the end of June. And, a large part of this goes out to my fellow Texans. And so if you are looking at the data sets, not only from the United States, but across the entire globe, you would know at this point that it is real. And that even with a 1% kill ratio, that's 1% of 7 billion people. Or even if it's a 0.7% kill ratio, that's of 7 billion people, bro. That is a lot of corpses, man. And so this is slow Thanos, and our ability to respond to it over the last 5 months has been F, piss poor, D- at best, and we are not showing any real signs of improving because we lack leadership. We are being led by Wall Street, and Wall Street is being led by greed, and their whole way of communication is just to distract us from how much money they're making. The number of people for COVID in Arkansas has tripled in the past month. And so, yeah, dude, I make all my contributions off of giving everyone good information every single month. And so when I warned everybody from February to the middle of March that lockdowns were coming back, I'm pretty much saying that lockdowns are coming back. Now, the president has no real say in that situation, that each state makes their own decisions. And so you'll have 50 different states making different decisions, but that I'm pretty sure rolling lockdowns are coming back. So just like I gave people 6 months or 6 weeks advance notice to get mentally, physically, emotionally prepared for that, not only, and then even financially, like in whatever business you have or the jobs you have, like you're looking at particular futures, trying to figure out your plans, and I had recommended from February to July having one plan, and then in July, right around July, figuring out what your next 6-month plan would be. And so that's pretty solid information. And that although there are many other subjects I would love to be covering, this is like my least favorite, that I'm doing this because not only can I help save lives, but I can help people get prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually for the coming 6 months, because this thing is not going away. And anyone who thinks that it is, or that like companies are just going to ever go back to normal, it's a state of delusion, man, or worse. And I don't make any policy decisions within corporations or governments. I just give advice and guidance as your planetary defense commander and hope that people follow it. And so, now would probably be a good time to get out of the markets. And if you're into Bitcoin like at 9.5 right now, I would definitely get out now and then probably come back in 3 to 6 months, because I don't think it's baked in the cake, which is what they say economically and financially. We can check back at the end of June and see how my prediction went on both the virus and the economy, because no matter what, the facts will have made themselves clearly apparent by the end of this month, that how potent the virus is and how many people it is affecting down the line with all the protests and now the new rallies and people kind of giving up on any type of trying to work together to deal with this situation. Hopefully divine intervention will happen and miracles will change. But this is not doom on any level as far as like the end of civilization. This is one of those things, it's almost like avoiding little invisible hurricanes. Just do your best to be smart and make good choices and have vision to see how things are going to change business-wise, life-wise, to the best of your ability for you, your family, and your friends, and your town. And I definitely recommend people working together to make sure the food supply chain and the supply chain stay up, and that as we all figure this out, we recognize that we're all human beings and that we are all in this together. All right. God bless everyone. Stay cool. But I do think everything will, by 2022, 2023, we will be into the roaring 20s and life will be good and great again. But we got a lot of hard work ahead of us. So don't let the greedy dickweeds trick you into making bad choices, man. And at your very best, try and stay positive above it all, because they're trying to zap us all with negative energy rays every day, all day. All right. Peace out. God bless everyone.